Hi, Daff.
Hello, I felt the need to extend that shit.
Clearly.
How
like,
goes
whoa,
it?
What the fuck? I think my ears are ringing.
Whatever. No, they aren't. How are ya?
How do you
goes
know
it?
if my ears are ringing or not?
Because I have a voice that's just exactly like Snow White's voice.
Oh, okay.
I have a beautiful pitch.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Everyone will agree.
Yeah.
All three.
Yeah.
Yeah, all three will agree.
Yeah.
How goes it? I've asked you like 5 times.
It's going.
It goes, it's going.
Mhm. How about yourself?
It goes, it's going.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's not spend 45 minutes talking about how we are. Let's just get rolling.
Just get straight into it. You ready for my disturbing fact?
I am so ready for you.
Well, this is the first time we're about to announce this in under a minute. Okay, my disturbing fact
Whoa.
is that brain scans can detect Facebook now.
What?
Yeah, they can see like Facebook activity in your brain now.
I'm confused. Does it, like, if they're scanning, does it come up with does it say Facebook and...
Okay, so this article basically is breaking down how most people have, like, obsessive compulsion, not necessarily, like, OCD, I guess, to check their Facebook, just, like, an obsessive need to check their Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And, here we go, and...
Nah.
So it's also said that some people may experience withdrawal symptoms from not checking their Facebook, and this is called a Facebook addiction, obviously, but it's showing up in the brain like a drug.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
So the study was small that they conducted on 20 volunteers in 2014, but it answered questions about Facebook habits and
that's 10 years ago.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, could you imagine it today? So after each of these people, so they were diagnosed with a mild addiction to Facebook, but I don't know if they were self-diagnosed or if the study diagnosed them with this. Afterward, each had their brain scanned, and while they were viewing images and pushing a button, the pictures were rotated between Facebook-related pictures and road signs, like street traffic signs.
Like stop, yield.
Yeah. So basically...
Slow down, Richard.
Yeah, slow down, Richard. The participants could choose when to push the button, but those that scored higher on the addiction survey turned trigger happy when Facebook popped up.
Wow.
Like all the pictures of Facebook. And the scan showed that the platform caused a similar response in the brain of getting trigger happy when Facebook...
Like dopamine?
Dopamine, yeah. Similar to cocaine users.
Wow.
Yeah, the impulsive regions lit up of your brain when they were conducting this study.
That's fucking crazy.
And there was a big difference though between people who were actually addicted to drugs versus those who were addicted to Facebook. And it said that the cocaine...
There was a big difference?
Yeah, there was a big difference between the brains, and how they were doing.
Okay.
How they were responding.
I was going to say, one costs a lot of fucking money. And
yeah, and one...
and is illegal.
And one is free and on your phone.
Right.
A cocaine addict's prefrontal cortex is inactive, and this region controls the impulsive areas of the brain, but it worked just fine for Facebook people.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually have impulse control, I guess. But I guess, yeah. So basically, social media addicts are not driven by real cravings that they have no control over, but instead it's a mix of habit, cultural, and social factors of feeling the need to check it.
Not impulse control, though?
Not impulse control.
Okay.
Not an actual impulse control. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, probably habit.
Yeah. More related to habit, but that's all I have.
Yeah,
it's interesting though that it is altering your brain, like I talked about the microplastics.
Right.
Those are altering the human body.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Pretty crazy.
It is
21st century's been a wild one.
Hey.
It's like the wild, wild west all over again. Or not really though.
Just kidding.
Right. Okay, so what you got for me?
Today I have the Halloween murder of Doreen Erbert.
How do you spell that?
So, spoiler alert, Doreen gets murdered.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't feeling that spoiler alerty to that because you said murder of. not murder committed by.
Yeah, yep. So, how do I spell what?
It was a joke.
Oh,
When we were doing this, I was like, how do you spell Doreen? I was like, I'm spelling it correctly, but I feel like I'm not.
I know. Yeah. All right, so Doreen Erbert was born in Santa Rosa, California in 1952, and she came from a really good home and a really good family, and they're like super supportive and like she's just loving environment, right?
Right. Good family home.
Lucky girl.
Yeah, good family life, good upbringing.
Doreen, when she grew up, she went to school to become a physical therapist.
Okay.
Michael Dennis worked at the Lockheed factory as a sprayer, and I don't know what that, I did not dive into what that is.
I was just wondering if it was related to Lockheed Martin.
I don't know about that. I was thinking about going into it, but then I'm like, I don't really care.
I don't really care about this guy.
So, yeah. But anyway, so he worked at the Lockheed factory as a sprayer, and the factory was next door to where Doreen worked as a physical therapist.
So that's how they met.
Mike was known, Mike, as he was known, because he's Michael, so they call him Mike. Weird.
Mike for short.
I know, it's a real stretch there. But anyway, yeah.
It's not a real stretch, it's a real shriek.
Yeah.
Shrink it by 3 letters and add a few in and replace some, and you get Mike from Michael. Right. We're going to take away the C and the H and the A and the L, and we're going to replace the C and the H with a K, and you have Michael from Mike. Or
Mike.
Michael to Mike.
Yes. There you go. Mic drop. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're actually just dropping some of the letters.
I guess it's not a mic drop, it's a Michael drop.
It's a Michael drop.
Anyway, so Mike, as he was known to his friends, family, everybody just called him Mike.
To Doreen, she probably called him Mike too.
Right.
And she's mad at him, and then she's like, "You're Michael today." So probably when he was growing up too, he was also, his parents were in trouble, he was in trouble with his
parents were in trouble.
He was in trouble with his parents, and they're like, Michael.
But his last name's the first name too, because it's Michael Dennis.
They're like, MD.
Right. But it's fine. It is what it is.
Michael Denisovich.
So he had some hearing loss, and as a result, he often stuttered.
Okay.
So he was a depressed person, and he didn't socialize very much or date. And when he met Doreen, the two hit it off, and they began dating. And they'd only been dating a few months when they were married in 1975. The couple had a son whose name was Paul.
Okay,
sorry. Mike's depression put a strain on the marriage, and the couple often seemed stressed. They fought a lot, and as a result,
360 from her growing up.
Yeah, exactly. And as a result, they divorced in 1977.
Okay.
Doreen had custody of Paul, and Mike would see him on the weekends, and the divorce was not something that Mike wanted, and he was angry and bitter about the divorce.
He big mad about it?
Yeah, big mad about it.
Big mad Mike.
So Doreen began dating and then married a man named Charles Erbert, who goes by Charlie.
I was wondering why she wasn't Doreen Dennis.
And they had, and Charlie owned a carpet store.
Okay.
Yeah,
so he's doing well for himself.
Yeah,
and he's gonna do well for Paul and Doreen as well.
Yeah, he's,
Sorry. I have to readjust myself, so I have to go bang, bang, bang on shit. My leg's falling asleep, and I have lack of upper body strength at this point now.
So now you're just going to sit in a different way that your other leg's going to fall asleep?
Well, this is better for me, though.
Okay.
I like to sit weird.
I know. I do, too. But I'm trying not to because my hip's been bothering me, and it makes me feel old. And I know it's just because I've been sitting all fucking weird. Or it's because my knee's been hurting for like a month and a half, and I'm walking all.
Or there's one other alternative to this.
I am old. Jackass. I'm not old.
There's one other option that we're missing in this.
Wow, what a jerk. What a jerk. So anyway, she married this guy, Charlie Erbert, right?
Yeah.
And they had a daughter in 1979, and her name was Deanna. The Erberts had a swimming pool in their backyard, which was surrounded by a fence. And in February of 1980, Paul, who was just 4 years old at the time, climbed the fence and he fell into the pool. And unfortunately, Doreen found him and she tried to revive him, took him to the hospital, and he was put on life support, but he sadly died 3 days later.
Oh, shit.
So really, really sad, right?
That's really sad.
It's really sad.
God,
I hate that.
losing a baby.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Losing your kid at all.
Yeah.
Would just suck. And especially, like that, because, I don't know, I feel
it's
like...
really a tragic way for it to happen.
Well, and I feel like you would feel that you weren't, like, watching them well
I
enough,
feel like that's what Mike's response is going to be, like, why'd you let my son die?
Yeah, basically.
Why were you negligent?
Yeah, basically.
And you had custody of him. What the fuck?
Yeah. So in March of 1982, because this was in 1980 when Paul died, so 2 years later, Mike filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Charlie and Doreen, and the case went to trial, but it was an accident, and there was a fence around the pool, so the judge ruled in favor of Charlie and Doreen.
Okay.
Okay? So this pushed an already depressed and bitter.
Yeah, now he's mad because his son is dead.
Yep, over the edge.
And probably heartbroken because he didn't want to lose Doreen, and now his son is actually gone.
Right. So he ended up losing his job because, he was all fucked up. And in his mind, Doreen had murdered their son. That was his perception of it, right?
Okay, so he's really going downhill here.
Really spiraling down, yes. Halloween of 1984, the police received a 911 call saying that someone had been stabbed. Paramedics arrived at the house, and police arrived, and there's literally, according to the police officers on the scene and, detectives and stuff, about an inch of blood covering the floor, like an inch thick.
Oh, God.
Not like 1 inch of blood, but like an inch
Someone got
thick.
bludgeoned.
Yeah, like
Doreen.
An inch thick, yep. So it was a super...
And I'm thinking I know who done it.
It was a super gruesome scene.
I didn't even need the whole gang here to figure that out.
Okay, so we can just wrap it up. Bye-bye!
Thinking I know who done it.
Yeah. So the victim had been brutally stabbed over and over, and her forearm was cut at an angle and separated from her body.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck is right. And according to the police, it was a very chaotic scene with, there's police on scene, there's paramedics, there's fire trucks, there's neighbors coming out of their houses to see what's up, what's going on. And the police started looking for people to ask about, like, what might have happened. And outside is a very distraught Charlie Erbert, and he's in the front yard, and he's pacing, and he's covered in blood, and he's combative with the police, and he wouldn't even tell the police his name or anything. And he reeked of alcohol, and he was visibly drunk.
Oh,
and
God.
so the police ended up taking him into custody, putting him in the police car,
Right.
and he's belligerent, and he's yelling, "My wife, my wife." And he even tried to kick out the windows of the police car because he's like...
That's definitely going to land you in the drunk tank, my guy.
So Doreen was being rushed out of the house on a gurney by the paramedics, and she literally looked like she had been gutted, and she was wide fucking open, right?
Is she alive at all?
So she's still alive at this point.
Oh, gosh. She's hanging on then.
She is. So,
that's really sad.
Yeah, it's terrible. It gets worse.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Already Captain Bring Me Down because a child dies, and now we're just adding insult to injury by this is going to get worse.
Yeah, it is going to get worse. Okay. So neighbors knew that the couple had a 4-year-old daughter named Deanna, and at least Charlie had the wherewithal to get Deanna to a neighbor's house.
Okay, that's good.
Right. So police found a wolf's mask on the porch, and it wasn't a child's mask. And they, searched the entire house. They're, looking for somebody to see if there's somebody still in there, right? And the house, the inside is, covered with blood. It's on the ceiling, it's on the walls, it's on the floor, it's on the furniture. It is Halloween.
This is violent.
And they have a jack-o'-lantern in the house, and the jack-o'-lantern is covered with blood. It was just a mess, right? So police are walking through, And one of the police officers says to the, like, detectives, he's like, be careful, there's that doll, don't step on that doll. And the next police officer comes through and he's like, oh, fuck. He's like,
oh, God, it's their daughter.
It's not a doll, it's a baby. A baby. Doreen had been 8 months pregnant at the time of the attack.
Oh, God, that is much worse.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Oh,
It's
shit.
terrible. So, yeah, it's terrible. And I'm not going to go into the details about that.
Okay,
we're just gonna.
That's cool. I'm
leave
good
it at
without
that.
you
Okay.
going into the details. I can assume that she was gutted and then he killed the kid too.
During the gutting, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because she was stabbed like so many fucking times.
I'm sure the baby died probably before it was even taken.
And it's like she was stabbed in the head. Like it was some kind of they said it wasn't a knife per se, but it was some kind of like a heavy instrument that was used to do all this damage to her, right? So Doreen, unfortunately, was declared dead by paramedics on the way to the hospital. And Deanna, the 4-year-old daughter, was in the house during the attack, but thankfully she wasn't hurt, but she's obviously traumatized, right?
For life?
Yeah, for life. And the inside of the house, like I said, it was covered with blood, the walls, the floor, the ceiling. And the weapon that was used...
Well, she's 5 years old at this time, so...
4.
4. Oh, yeah, you
4.
said that. Sorry, 4 years old.
No, it's okay.
Because I was thinking 1984, and she was born in 79.
Yes, she was 4.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, my brain was just braining.
No, it's okay.
My brain was braining.
My brain was braining. Or not, whatever.
Or lack thereof braining. It's fine. It's cool.
So the weapon that was used was big enough for the murderer to hit the ceiling as he was, like, thrashing away on Doreen's body, right?
Oh, God.
So the police thought that maybe it was like an axe or something.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, hitting her and then swinging up and it's hitting the ceiling and, hence the fucking blood splatter every fucking where, right? So police went to the neighbor's house to talk to Deanna, who told police that her mom had taken her trick-or-treating, and when they got home, they started to watch a movie, and her mom was, like, up and down answering the door for trick-or-treaters, and then her dad told her mom that he was going to the store, and he'd be right back, and after his dad left, there was a knock on the door, and not, like, a trick-or-treat knocker, but, like, a big-ass heavy knock, like an aggressive, heavy knock.
Okay.
And when her mom opened the door, she began yelling, and then she told Deanna to run and hide. And she hid behind the couch, and she like covered herself with a blanket. And I'm assuming the couch had to be up against the wall in order for her to do that.
For her to actually hide.
Yeah, for her to actually hide. So the person who was attacking her mom, then after he was done attacking her mom, started to look around the house for Deanna.
Yeah.
And he couldn't find her, but then he's yelling out, "If you tell anyone, I'll come back and kill you too."
Oh, shit.
Like, and she's 4.
Where he's threatening her.
Yeah,
So she's scared to literal death.
Yeah, exactly. So she stayed hiding behind the couch and covered with this blanket. She's too scared to come out, like, at all, right? Even after he left. And she could hear her mom breathing, but it was, like, gurgly breathing, like,
yeah.
And then a few minutes after that, her dad came back, and he opened okay. So her dad comes back, and he just starts yelling, "What happened? What happened?" And Charlie then picked up the phone, he called a neighbor, and just said that Doreen had lost the baby, and could the neighbor come over. So the neighbor saw the fetus on the floor, but, like, didn't have any idea what had happened, right? So she just scooped up Deanna, and she took her back to her house. So
this is kind of a shit show.
It is really a shit show. And then, I hate it when I say
well,
that.
It's not like murder's supposed to be, like, clean and proper and all.
Right,
but, like,
this is like a chaotic
extra
scene, and, like, it's just really bad and sad. So, Deanna, obviously everything that I just told you is Deanna's account of what happened, right?
Right.
And then she went on to tell police that it was the big bad wolf who had done this.
Aww.
So police start following a blood trail that led away from the house to a walking bridge that went over the highway, like a catwalk,
Yeah.
And so at this point, police are, like, wondering if Charlie had left the house and come back dressed as the wolf and like, did it and or, if he's the one that killed her, or if he left the house and had an accomplice come in and kill Doreen, right?
Right.
So, because the way he was acting, police were, suspicious of him.
Yeah, well, I would be too.
Right?
If I didn't already think it was somebody else, yeah, my eyes would be on him.
Yeah, for sure. So, police...
But now I don't know, because he's all belligerent. I don't know.
Belligerent and bloody.
Yeah,
so,
but he's also bloody from being in the house after this all happened.
Right, exactly. So the police are asking neighbors questions, and they told them that Doreen had been married before and had had a child with her first husband, but the child had drowned in an accident in Doreen and Charlie's backyard. And they also told the police about the lawsuit and Mike losing the lawsuit because it was purely an accident. It was tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic, but it was an accident. There was nothing malicious behind it, It sucks. Horrible. Terrible. But an accident.
Right. Well, accidents happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So Mike...
I would say something else, but I would get sued. Florida. Think about it.
Sued Florida.
No, not sued Florida.
No, I know.
In Florida. Think about it.
I got you.
If you're a true crimey person, then you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking
right.
about. That involved the pool.
Yeah. So Mike Dennis then became a person of interest. So this is it's 1984, so there's not a ton of technology or anything, but one of the police officers had access to a computer, and they were able to find his address. So they go and they go to his house and they question him. It's 1:00 in the morning, and when they arrive at his house, they can hear water running, and they're worried that he's destroying evidence. So the police just start banging on the door until Mike answers the door, right?
Yeah, well, I feel like that's a reasonable suspicion to just enter.
Right.
To just bust down the door and come on in.
Right, but you can't.
You can if there's probable cause.
Yeah, if there's something actually happening though, but him just water running.
Yeah,
it seems like he's destroying evidence, but
I'll let you continue.
He could be showering or
showering to destroy
you know what I
evidence.
mean, but not
Think about Daphne. Think about Daphne. What was she doing?
In the utility room?
Yeah, what was she doing?
Washing off the evidence.
Destroying evidence.
Right. Okay. But I don't think that's probable cause to...
I think it is.
I don't know. I guess we'd have to
If you're a fucking suspect and a person of interest, I think you could probably break down a door.
I think you would probably have probable cause.
I think you probably would not need a search warrant at that current moment in time.
I don't know.
I don't either. Maybe we need to talk to a cop.
Anyway, so
we know a cop. We should ask him.
We do.
We should ask him.
Okay.
And he's a dispatch deputy, so he would probably know the things.
Well, and also it's 1984 and it's California, so it's gonna probably maybe have different laws.
Probably, maybe, but it's still worth an ask.
It is worth an ask.
You should ask him later. You should text him.
So they told him, the police told Mike that they were aware that he had problems with his ex-wife and they had some questions, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Doreen, okay, yeah, what's up?"
He's like, Doreen.
And he invited the police inside, and police told him, so he's just asking.
Okay, so he's being casual. He's not like, "Oh my God, I have questions. It's 1 a.m. Is she okay? What's going on?"
No, he's being super casual and really They said that his voice was really monotone and really just very unengaged, I guess would be a good way to describe it.
Huh.
That he was melancholy or...
Sounds suspicious to me.
Sounds suspicious. So, excuse me. And he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, Doreen, yeah, okay, whatever. You guys want to come in, you can ask me questions, whatever." And then, so they're just asking him questions about their marriage, the death of their son, the lawsuit, blah, 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 and he's just super casual, nonchalant in his answers, "Oh yeah, well, that stuff happened, but, here we are, it's 1984 now, so,
right,
you move on." He's just real chill about it.
Okay.
So then they told him that she had been murdered, and he was calm and cool, and he was like, "Oh, really? Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I knew that happened, but okay.
Yeah." So he never said anything bad about Doreen, And the police were like, okay, like maybe this is a dead end. Like maybe he didn't have anything to do with this, right?
Okay.
So then police ask if he would sign a consent to search, and he's like, yeah, sure, no problem, I'll sign it. So they put it in front of him, and he's trying to sign it with his left hand, but like that's not really working out for him so well. And the police are like, are you left-handed? And he's like, no, I'm right-handed. And then he pulls his right hand out from under the table, and it's wrapped in gauze, and it's like oozing blood. And the police are like, what happened? And he's like, oh, well, I was carving a pumpkin. I was doing a jack-o'-lantern.
With my left hand, and I stabbed myself in my right arm.
He said that the knife slipped out of his hand and like flew up in the air kind of, and that he caught the blade of it.
Oh,
that's how
I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened. So
because
it was
gravity never existed.
It was a pumpkin carving accident.
He's like trying to juggle. He's like, oh, boom, right in his hand. Blade straight through the palm.
Right. God.
Fucking A.
Fucking A. So, of
this
course.
This guy sounds full of shit.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I don't care that he's been depressed his whole life. Maybe he deserved it.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe if he wasn't depressed, none of this would happen and we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it sounds like he deserves his depression, though.
So.
Sounds like you deserve to wallow in pity your whole life.
Well.
Him.
Yes. Okay. You said me. You said you.
Well, I was referring to him.
I'm like, oh, thanks. So, of course, his hand being wrapped in gauze and oozing blood raises some suspicion.
Yeah. Big Mad
weird,
Mike.
Right.
Big Mad Mike in the hand wrap.
So the police are with him when he goes upstairs. They're like, hey, we need, like, can we get your ID? Like, we're going to make, like, write down all your information, date of birth, blah, blah, whatever. He's like, yeah, it's in my bedroom. Like, my wallet's in my room. So the police go up to his bedroom with him, and he starts, like, acting shady.
Shocker.
And
Not Mike.
The police officer that was, like, accompanying him up the stairs, if you will, like, put his hand on his revolver. He's, like, ready to, like,
he's like,
I don't know
we
what's
might need to get this guy.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to go on. So the cop that goes in the bedroom with him to get his wallet, he sees a holster hanging from the headboard of his bed, and he goes over, the cop goes over there and he grabs it, and it's a .357 Magnum, and it's loaded. So he's like, oh shit. Like,
okay, yeah,
so the cop is thinking that he was either going to kill himself or he was going to, like, try to get in a shootout with police
need to
or whatever.
de-escalate this right now.
And so the cop, like, because also his wallet is, like, right next to the holster, because the holster is hanging on the headboard of the bed, and your nightstand's right here,
Yeah.
And so the cop grabs his wallet and is like, okay, get your ID out for me, blah, blah, blah. And so then they go back downstairs, and it's, like you said, it's de-escalated, right?
Yeah.
So they're searching the house because they have this consent to search that was signed by Mike, right?
Yeah.
But it was an informal, but it was still like he was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Still was upheld.
Yes. And so searching the house, they go out to the garage and they find a blood trail. And there's blood on the handle of his truck, and inside his truck on the seat, and inside the door, and on the steering wheel. And so at that point, he's placed under arrest, or he's taken into custody.
Okay.
If you will. He's, I guess, not really arrested, but... So now they have two...
I'm glad they didn't drop it and think it was nothing, like they were trying to
right.
at the top of this.
Yeah, they're like, oh, no, it's
questioning.
Cool, it's whatever. So now they have two suspects in custody.
Okay.
And upon further inspection of the outside of the property, they found a blood trail that they then traced back to the walking bridge. So it looks like he was on foot when he went to Doreen's.
Okay, but he probably parked on the other side of this walking bridge.
No, because he walked all the way back. I'll get to where the blood comes in the truck.
Okay.
But no, because he walked. It was like 4
Doreen.
or 5 blocks from. The walking bridge was like 4 or 5 blocks from his house. It didn't say how far it was from Doreen's.
But that's where they traced the blood
yeah,
too.
from Doreen's, they follow a blood trail to the...
That's a lot of blood for it to be dripping and leaving that much of a mark.
Well, he left an inch of fucking blood on the floor of her house. So he's covered in blood. His hand is bleeding. Cause
I'm just saying, that's a lot of blood, though.
That's a lot of blood.
I guess some of the blood dripping could have been his own.
Right. Well, that's, probably the thinking. And so, they follow it to this catwalk that goes over the highway, but then they, don't follow it over the catwalk. They're just like, oh, and then they go and they get his address, and then that's when they backtrack it the other way, right?
Okay.
Because they're searching, and they're, outside, and they're like, oh, fuck, look, there's this blood. Let's follow it. I'm like, well, fuck. Look where it goes. And it matches up with this blood over here. So I don't know why they didn't go all that way in the first place, but who knows. Anyway, so, I spaced out where I'm at. Okay.
No, you're fine. I was just listening to you. I was just thinking that's my brain process, but then, yeah, he's also bleeding, so it could have contributed to it. It was just that's a lot of wet blood still on him. No, do you know how long this attack lasted?
It was quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For it not to dry, I guess, in that time of him walking a distance, and it's still there.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's on him. He's bleeding. I mean, and if his hand is wrapped in gauze and it's oozing blood through the gauze, he's
injured.
He's got a pretty good cut.
Yeah.
That'll jack-o'-lantern injury.
Yeah, that'll juggling the knife while carving your jack-o'-lantern,
right.
Carving pumpkins.
So the police are still not sure who the murderer is. They've got Charlie, they've got Mike, both in custody, right? So they start to question Charlie again once he, calms down, which took a while. Because, like I said, they couldn't even really get his name out
he was
of it.
in the drunk tank, for sure.
Yeah. Well, and they couldn't even, he wouldn't even tell him his name or anything. He was totally combative.
Okay.
And so then Charlie produces a receipt from the time of the murder from the convenience store where he had gone to go get cigarettes and beer.
Okay.
So he said when he got home, the door was open, and he found Doreen, and he started doing CPR, and then he grabs the phone, and he calls the neighbor, and that's, he tells the neighbor that Doreen lost the baby, and please come and get Deanna.
Yeah.
So the police are, thinking, well, this is convenient. You were gone at this specific time.
Right.
And this happened.
But Charlie could have been staking him out, waiting for him to leave.
Mike.
Mike, I'm sorry, could have been waiting for Charlie to leave.
But, so the police are they're still just well, we don't fucking know,
Yeah.
We don't know. We're not giving up on you either. So,
well, I don't blame him.
No,
You always look at the person closest, too.
Yeah, for sure. So the way he was presenting himself, they're maybe he had something to do with it, he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, this was probably 10 minutes that this took, or less.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like Mike's probably staking him out, though.
Right.
He's sitting out there watching, waiting.
To see if
and this probably wasn't the first night that he attempted that.
But he wasn't.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. I'm sorry. I was just going to ask you, is Doreen dead at this point when they're doing all this questioning? Because I know you said...
Yeah, because remember I said that the paramedics...
You said she was clinging on to life, though.
But I said the paramedics pronounced her dead on the way to the hospital.
Oh, no, I missed that. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, totally...
Yeah.
There's a lot happening here that I just totally...
Right.
And then you're and then they went in the house and they were don't step on the baby, and it was
don't step on the doll.
It was a real baby. Yeah, it was her baby that she was pregnant with for the last 8 months, her almost full term, gonna bring into this world baby.
Could have lived baby.
Yeah, almost was alive baby. Yeah. Pretty fucking, that's why I think I missed over that, because that just happened. So
oh fuck, oh I know. I was man, and then I was God, should I do
well,
this?
Well, then when you were talking about it too, my brain was God, it's Deanna. But dolls can be, they don't have to be a baby doll, an American Girl doll, right?
Right. That is
probably not far off in size, maybe from a 4-year-old. Body's gonna be bigger, obviously, but size wise, dolls that size exist.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Proceed.
you're good. I'm glad we've circled back.
No, because I was just wondering. I was like, I wasn't sure if she was dead or not.
No, they pronounced her dead on the way to the hospital.
Okay.
So because
That's a lot of fight though. If you're hanging on to life after literally losing all of your blood.
They said she had like 25 bludgeoning stab wounds to her head.
Ugh.
Her arm is cut off. Her stomach she's filleted, wide open.
Yeah.
Like she's disemboweled. Her uterus, her placenta, like her abdomen, the whole, like she's
cleared out.
Yeah, she's fucked up. It's really terrible. Really, really terrible. So again, the police are like not convinced that Charlie's not involved because of the way he's acting and the way he's presenting himself, right?
Okay.
So when Mike was brought in, his clothes were covered in blood. So police offered him a jumpsuit so he could take off his bloody clothes, and they put his bloody clothes and like his belongings that he had on him.
Not in evidence?
No, they did. They put it in an evidence bag. So the police start questioning Mike, and he claims to be home from 4 p.m. on, and he had dinner with his mom. And then the police start asking him about, like, what Halloween costumes you have, what Halloween costumes have you worn, what have you been, blah, blah. And he starts, like, naming off a bunch of costumes, but, like, he never mentions a wolf, right? So, and then they're, like, straight up are like, do you have a wolf mask? And he's like, no, I don't own a wolf mask, and I did not kill Doreen. And he's like, I didn't have any motive to kill her. Like, I realized that I sued them over the death of our son, but like that's not a reason for me to kill someone. You know? Like that was where he was at, right? And he is very even, very nonchalant.
Very neutral.
Yes, very neutral. That's a good way to put it. So both men in custody.
Not sad, not happy.
They can, they can only be held for 48 hours without further evidence because they're not technically under arrest. They're just being detained or held or whatever.
Right.
So the police go to the convenience store where the receipt was that Charlie had from the clerk. Charlie had the receipt from the convenience store, right? So the police go there, and they talk to the clerk, and he's like, yeah, this dude was here for sure. And they're like, do you have any, like, way of showing us? And the receipt was time-stamped, and because it's, like, the very next day, there's a security video, and on the security video with the time of the receipt, Charlie's on there buying the cigarettes and beer, right?
Okay, and this matches up with the time of death?
Yes.
Okay.
Matches up with the time of death. So, but it still doesn't mean
or time of the attack.
Yeah, exactly, time of the attack. But it still doesn't mean that he's not an accomplice.
Yeah,
or he doesn't
mean
have
he's not involved.
Yeah, not involved. There you go.
I just don't see any reason why he would be involved, though. But I suppose perhaps we're going to jump into that if it is the case.
Perhaps.
Because I just don't, it doesn't seem like their marriage is volatile. It doesn't seem like...
No, the neighbors said that they were happy and loving and, like, they were just a great couple together. Like, they had
their daughter. They were bringing another baby into the world. Like, what happened with Paul was a seriously unfortunate accident. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like he was bad, and it sounds like he kind of maybe almost in a way was like her savior after being with Mike.
Yeah. Maybe.
And Paul's savior. I mean, I guess doesn't necessarily need a savior, but you know what I mean. That like he was the good guy that came along.
Right, and because she comes from this loving, great family, and she's with this fucking depressed dude.
Lunatic.
Yeah, who they're fighting, and it's just a shit show, and she's like, yeah. So yeah, she meets this guy, and they have a great relationship. All the neighbors were like, they were happy, and like you never heard them fighting or yelling at each other. Like everything was all good.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I just don't see a reason, but I said perhaps we're going to get into it, but I just don't see a reason why he would be. But I guess look at Chris Watts. But Chris Watts had a whole other life behind the scenes.
True. But they seem like a happy, loving couple.
Yeah, but that was all in the time of social media, too, because neighbors also said they heard them fighting, and that Shanann would text her friends and be like, Chris is being a dick again, and all the things.
All of the things. So Charlie did have an alibi for the time of the murders, and he was released.
Okay.
So the police asked the DNA for an official search warrant for Mike Dennis's house, and when they went in, like, they collected everything that they could collect. They collected blood evidence, and obviously they've already collected all this shit from the crime scene. They have blood evidence, they have all the photographs, they have, like, everything they could collect from the crime scene, right? So they go to Mike's house and they collect everything that they can, and this is pre-DNA, because it's 1984, right? But they can type the blood to see if it matches Doreen's blood type. Right?
Okay.
Or Mike's blood type, or whoever, they can at least do that. So the police then locate an outbuilding behind Mike's house, and inside they find 2 coffins, one smaller than the other, and it looks like, based on the coffins, he was going to put Charlie in one and Doreen in the other. And when they opened the coffins, there were weights inside, so obviously...
He was going to drop them in water.
Yep, obviously he was planning on dropping them in water, and then the coffins would sink, and police are like, what the fuck? So that's why the whole, like, when you said, obviously, he's staking him out, well...
He wasn't, he was going to kill Charlie.
He wanted to kill Charlie, too.
Charlie just wasn't home, and that's probably why he was running around looking for him, too. That's running around the house. I mean, obviously he was looking for Deanna also, but he was probably... looking for Charlie also.
Right, yeah. So, his plan...
It's a pretty quick fucking window, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was super fast.
That's what I'm saying, for him to be in and out and, like, Charlie to not interrupt anything, and Charlie just happened to be gone.
Right.
Pretty quick window.
Yeah, it was a quick
That's why I assumed he was staking him out.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking, too, until I read on, and they said that there were coffins. Because at first, when they said that there were coffins and one smaller than the other, I was thinking, oh, God, like it was for Deanna.
Yeah.
But no, they were, like, adult-sized, but, like, one's man-sized, one's woman-sized.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yep.
So,
one for big build, one for small build.
Right, exactly. So police are like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
And then the police also find a cardboard sleeve for a machete, but no machete. And it has a tag on it from the store that it was purchased at. And so then police go and they buy the same exact machete, and they take it to the crime scene, and, they're like, you're not going to see me. But okay, they're doing like the stabbing motions and swinging up to the ceiling, and the machete fits the grooves in the ceiling that were left by the murder weapon perfectly.
Okay.
Perfectly.
Yeah,
right?
they were testing it out.
Yeah, exactly.
They were redoing the scene to see if it matched.
Yes, exactly. Because they don't have the machete, but they're like, well, this is...
what do you do with it?
This is probably fucking what he did,
Right, because they know he bought something from there.
Right, they know he bought a machete.
Yeah.
So, but where's the machete? Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking in my brain. I was like, a machete or a katana?
Right. And I was at first thinking a tire iron.
Well, I was thinking because you could stab, because they both have blades, right? But they both also have heavy handles on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that
well,
you could
tire iron.
Put in that much, that it would have
or
that much
yeah, because they have like
backing
a crowbar
to it.
Yeah. And then like the tire iron with the crowbar end on it.
Yeah, but that wouldn't give you like a clean stab.
No, you wouldn't be able to cut off somebody's arm with that.
No.
So yeah,
and it was cut at a sharp edge.
And he was cut at an angle. So like obviously he just went the whack and went through her arm. Like he's angry. He's angry. He's angry as fuck, right? So
it's really sad.
It's really sad. So it makes sense that was the murder weapon because of the way she was hacked up and the wounds to her abdomen and her head and her forearms cut off her body. So police are like, okay, for sure, right? So they go to the DA and they're like, we want an arrest warrant. Or we want to be able, like, he's in custody. So, like, we want to be able to arrest him. And the DA's office is like, I don't think you have enough.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I am not fucking kidding you.
That's redonk.
They're like, we don't think you have enough for an arrest. Let's get the blood analysis done first. You don't actually have a murder weapon. You only have what you think is the murder weapon, but that's speculation, purely speculative. And so the DA is like, nah, you can't.
That's ridiculous.
Well, and
Manson happened before all this. What the fuck they mean?
Yeah. what I think, I don't know, part of me is like, it's like the whole Diddy thing. Like, they want all the fucking shit they can so that they can make
But
sure
he's
that
already
the
in
case...
custody. He's arrested.
He's detained. He's not technically under arrest. He can't leave. They can hold him for 48 hours, but he's not officially under arrest.
No, I'm talking about Diddy.
No, I know, but how long did that go on before they were collecting evidence?
But there's still people coming forward and saying shit.
Well,
Like,
because now people are not afraid anymore. But anyway, you know, like, they want to make sure they have a concrete case because they probably don't want to go to trial and then not win because they don't want to waste their time.
Fair.
And they want to have all the information, but it's still fucked up.
Okay, keep going. I really need to know what's going to happen here.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm like, are they going to get this? Are they going to get him?
The DA wants the
crime of passion.
Well, yeah, 100%. So the DA wants the blood analysis first, and it's 1984, so it's going to take a minute. It's not like now, where you probably would have it in 20 minutes. Like, it's a couple of days to test it, right? So after the 48 hours, they have to let him go. And they were trying to keep him in custody just in case there was more physical evidence that could be found that he could go and destroy. But obviously they couldn't. They couldn't keep him because the DA wouldn't give them an arrest warrant.
Right, and he probably lawyered up at this point and had his rights given and all the things. And
there's actual news footage of Michael Dennis being released because it's all over the news, and then it's like, oh, he's getting released. And he's like, oh, it's tragic what happened, but I didn't have anything to do with it. And it's, again, that super just, like, casual, nonchalant, whatever. And then
straight up sociopath.
The police chief is on record criticizing the DA's office for not pressing charges. And, like, people in San Jose, they're living in San Jose, are scared because they don't know if it is him or if it's just some fucking crazy person that's hacking people up, right?
Right.
And so they're carrying guns and they're sleeping with them under their pillows. This was the most brutal and violent attack that police had ever happened in San Jose.
Oh, I'm sure.
Since the police didn't have anybody in custody, people are like, well, what the fuck? And if it is this Michael Dennis dude and he's unhinged, now he's free.
So now we're going to have a civilian attack.
So now he's free, right?
I mean a civilian, like a vigilante army under...
Like Richard Ramirez thing?
Yeah.
People are just scared. Remember, though, that the police had his belongings from the night that he was taken into custody, and because they'd put him into evidence, right?
So he's just released in this jumpsuit.
Yeah, basically. Well, he had clothes on, though, in the video, so somebody must have brought him clothes or something. I don't know.
Who would bring him clothes? What the fuck?
Maybe his mom that he had dinner with. I don't know. So they still have his belongings, and in his belongings, there was a black book, like a little black book, if you will.
Yeah.
You know? And so it contained numbers. It contained numbers of his friends. So the police start calling his friends. They're specifically just asking if anybody knows if he owned a wolf mask. And then this woman tells them that Mike had taken her to a party, a Halloween party the year before, and he was the big bad wolf and she was Little Red Riding Hood, and that there are pictures from the party.
Oh, shit.
So, and did I say that the mask was left on the porch?
You did, yeah, you said that.
All right. I was like, I can't
No, you said that he left it behind, yeah.
Yeah, that it was on the porch.
Yeah.
They end up getting the pictures.
So I was like, if it was Charlie, he didn't have to drop it very far from home.
Right. So they get the pictures, and in the pictures he's
wearing... If it was Mike, that was a fat oopsie.
Big oop. It's like that jelly glove from that kid that killed that 98-year-old lady, Margaret Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
How he dropped
that
it in the flower bed.
That piece of shit.
Yeah, that piece of shit. So they get pictures from the Halloween party, and he's wearing the exact same mask that was found on Doreen's porch. And when the police confront him with the fact that he is wearing that mask, and here's the mask, here's a picture of you wearing the mask.
Right.
He's like, that's not a picture of me. It's a dude wearing a mask. Like, that could be anybody.
That's poor.
Frustrating, right? So,
that's a poor coincidence of truth.
Right. Exactly. It's like, oh, fuck.
Except for that homegirl said, oh, this is him.
You have a point.
But your word versus my word.
Yeah, exactly.
It's his word against her word.
So now the police have to prove that it's him in the picture wearing the mask. So they get a third search warrant to go to his house, and this time they're looking for the clothes that he was wearing in the picture. Because what are the chances somebody else is going to have the exact same fucking outfit?
Right.
Right? And so, as luck would have it,
he's too stupid and didn't throw it away.
Right. Well, it was like a shirt and a jacket. It was literally like he was dressed like normal and then just had this wolf mask on.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a whole wolf costume. It was like
a
clothes.
Werewolf.
It was like clothes. Yeah, there you go. It was like clothes and a wolf mask. So
he was a werewolf, really?
Basically. So the blood typing came back, and the blood found at Doreen's house was Mike's, and the blood found at Mike's was Doreen's. So now they have the outfit he was wearing in the picture. They have a picture of him wearing the fucking mask. They have the blood evidence. 4 days after the murder, so pretty quick actually. The double murder, mind you.
Yeah.
They got an arrest warrant from the DA.
Good. About damn time.
They never found the machete or the mechanic's outfit that Deanna said that he was wearing. So police speculate that he walked to Doreen's, walked back, threw the shit in the back of his truck, which is why there's blood inside the truck, and drove it somewhere and tossed it.
Right, probably weighed it down somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So
if it hasn't already disintegrated in the water.
And they never found it.
It probably weighed it down in the water like he was planning to do
with
the coffins. Yeah.
That's the fucking like
totally premeditated.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is it's premeditated, but they don't charge him with premeditated murder, which is really frustrating. I'm like, really, Woo? They don't charge him with premeditated murder. But then police are like, why do you leave the fucking mask though at the scene? He's not like a brainiac by any stretch, but he's like super calm and chill.
Not really a big bad wolf.
Yeah. But what they think is that he wore glasses, right? And he has this mask on over his glasses, and they're just going to be tiny little holes, and he's not going to... And
he's trying to see his way out now.
He's fucking covered in blood. And so there's blood all over the mask.
Blood
Presumably
everywhere.
There's blood on his glasses from the little eye holes that there are in the mask, and so he's got to take off the mask so he can see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the police are speculating. So they're speculating he tossed the shit, he's wear glasses, can't see. So after 4 years, which actually isn't that long, he finally goes on trial, and he's facing the death penalty. And at this time, Deanna's 8 years old, and she was the first witness to take the stand.
Good.
He wasn't allowed to look at her while she was on the stand because she was afraid. They made him keep his head down on the table while they asked her the questions, And basically, her memory was just that it was a man who wore a wolf mask and a mechanic outfit, and it was the wolf mask that they had in evidence at the trial. Like, they had it,
Yeah.
His team, the defense team, was like, well, you were only 4 years old. Are you sure your memory's right?
And she's like, really? You think I'd fucking forget
exactly,
that night?
Exactly. And they're like, this is burned in her brain.
Right.
Like this is this. The prosecution also speculated that he committed the murder on Halloween so he could wear a mask and not be identified.
That makes sense.
There's people knocking on doors, and so you're going to answer the door.
Normal.
Yeah, like it's no big deal. Halfway through the trial, Michael Dennis changes his plea to guilty by reason of insanity. He claims that he's like seeing trick-or-treaters and that he's lost his son and he just lost it. And there's a court-appointed psychiatrist then that says that Michael Dennis was fixated on the death of Paul and that he blamed Doreen and Charlie and that he had active fantasies about killing Doreen and Charlie, which obviously he has fucking coffins for them.
Yeah,
so,
sorry, I'm just eye-rolling and nodding my head because it's so fucked.
I know.
Well, I know you can't see me.
Like,
I know you can't see me. I'm just being
eyes
quiet. It's just, you probably can't hear the marbles rolling though. But it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
This, it sucks, but accidents do happen.
Yeah, exactly.
This is just, so fucking brutal. This is making me really sad. The brutality and then tormenting the little girl, killing the baby, premeditated, fucking coffins with weights in them so they can just fucking get dragged to the bottom of whatever body of water he's planning on dumping them in.
Yeah. Well, he's in San Jose, so.
Probably the ocean, yeah.
Yeah, presumably. I don't know how far the ocean is, but presumably he's going there. He's in California. At some point, you'll hit the ocean if you keep going west.
Yeah.
You know, it's just terrible. Obviously, he has the coffins, so he's...
Yeah, premeditated.
Yeah, he's like... And
he's actively pursuing this murder.
He built the coffins in that outbuilding.
Oh,
it's
shit.
It's not like he went and fucking to a
like,
mortuary.
Hey, I need 2 coffins, please.
Right.
Oh, they're just Halloween decorations.
Right. No, he built them in that outbuilding. So, I mean, that takes some time, some effort, some thought.
Yeah, some energy.
Yeah. So obviously he planned on killing them. But his insanity plea, because of Paul and him just being so depressed, and it's Halloween, he's seen all these kids, and then, so he says he just snapped, and he went over there and he killed her. But I mean, again, he's made coffins, and he's thought about putting on a wolf mask. He didn't just go and kill her.
He waited for Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. But he claimed that he didn't know that Doreen was pregnant when he attacked her. And I feel like maybe he didn't know. Nobody was like, oh, hey, did you know Doreen's pregnant?
Right.
But when you get to her house and she's 8 months pregnant.
How do you not know?
Yeah, and they have pictures of her and they show she's pregnant. Like, she's pregnant.
They did maternity shoots.
Yeah, like, she's pregnant.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's bullshit. He's just fucking...
a liar.
He's crazy. I mean, yeah, I guess
that's why I said sociopath.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's really tragic that he lost his son.
It is.
But it's not her fault.
It's not her fault. No. Accidents happen.
And I'm sure she had some major fucking guilt about it.
And it sucks. Oh, my God, I'm sure. She probably took it harder than he did because son was in her care. Paul was with her when it happened.
Exactly. It just really, really sucks. Really sucks. So on April 16th of 1988, he was convicted of first-degree murder for Doreen and second-degree murder for the murder of her unborn child, and he was sentenced to death. Good. So the insanity plea did not work.
Well, except good and bad. I feel like sometimes it's good that they have to sit there and think about what they did for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. But in California...
they don't have the death penalty.
They did away with the death penalty, yep. I mean, they did at the time he was sentenced, but then they did away with it. So everybody who was on death row, their sentences were commuted to life without the possibility of parole.
Good.
So that's where he sits today.
He's still alive? Good.
Yep.
Hope you're sitting there in the corner thinking about what you did, big Mad Mike.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all I got.
Well, okay. Thanks. That was really fucking sad.
Sorry.
That was, like, really tragic.
I know. Thanks. I was like, I need to find a Halloween murder. And there are several. And then I was doing this one. And then when I got to the baby part, I was like, but I was already there. I was already in it.
You were already committed.
Yeah, I was already committed. It's the one I chose.
It's okay. I got one coming up for you.
Because, as usual, I'm working on 77 other cases.
Always.
But I'm like, I should do a Halloween something.
Yeah.
So, look for a Halloween murder.
Yeah.
And probably pick the saddest one I could find.
Definitely. Probably definitely.
Not on purpose.
The one that I found is, like, themey around Halloween, but it didn't take place, actually, in October.
Not even in October.
Not even in spooky season.
Wow, not in September?
No, not in
November?
Spooky season.
Okay.
Not even in the season.
So April?
Yeah, I think it actually was in April or May. April or May. So I probably will wait to do that one because I found one that happened on Halloween.
Okay.
And I like the spooky, like how we planned on doing the week-long thing last year. That didn't happen because, unfortunately, we lost our chihuahua then. Mm-hmm. But we're not going to do that this year because I can't keep a promise.
Sorry, just took a drink of my Sprite and I almost just spit it out because I was like, yeah, I can't keep a promise.
Yeah, well, I don't want to promise that we're going to do it and then under-deliver.
Oh, yeah, there's no fucking way we're going to do it.
If we did, like, little baby 20-minuters, shoddy babies, but it's like, what do you even report about for a shoddy 20 minutes when it's like, yeah, just don't count on it, okay?
Yeah, no.
Like how we planned on doing it last year. Just don't expect it or count on it this week. Just don't expect or count on us at all. Like, definitely turn your notifications on for when we post. But just don't expect or count on us in the slightest.
That's really sad.
Yeah, well, actually, we've been putting more a priority on this.
We have.
And we've been doing a lot better.
Yes, we have. We got 3 weeks in a row out.
Woo! high five it. Yeah.
And this one,
Except I feel like my last one sucked and nobody liked it, but it's fine.
people listened to it. I don't know.
It probably had a really small click-through rate, though. Or really high click-through rate. I mean, like a low listen rate.
A low finishing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never look at those stats because then I'm like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, but people don't like to listen to this part anyway, so nobody's going to hear it anyway. I'm saying, don't count on us, don't expect shit from us.
Anyway, that's it.
Thank you. That was horrible.
Cool.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
You presented it well, but it was horrible.
It was terrible.
First, son dies, accident. That super sucks. Then ex-husband kills mom and unborn child of a new husband.
Yeah.
And is also planning on killing new husband and probably daughter too. Fucking brutal.
Yep.
Yep, that was horrible.
Yep.
Thanks. You did a great job of presenting the story, but the story you selected, yeah, pretty fucking sadly terrible.
Sorry.
Pretty now like I gotta go watch Vampire Diaries or I don't know,
Sabrina,
yeah. Or Tell Me Lies. Oh my god, if you haven't watched it, must watch. Tell Me Lies is incredible.
All right, well, tell people where they can find us.
Okay, yeah.
They've stopped listening at this point.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, they definitely have. They definitely have. Click-through rate, high. You can follow us on Instagram at That's Disturbing Podcast. You can send us a case request there. Not that anybody does anyway, but you can if you so choose to. And you can also send us a case request at our Gmail, which nobody does, but you can if you so choose to. I just get a lot of New York Times shit in there.
And Reddit.
New York Times, Reddit, the Medium.
Quora,
yeah.
Quora.
Quora?
I don't know. It's Quora.
Yeah, I don't know, because we've looked up shit in there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're on the email list.
Yay.
For the 31 vegetables that can change your life and every other fucking unrelated topic to true crime.
Yes.
How to set up speakers. Like, pretty bad. Okay, yeah, that's disturbingpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks so much, and happy spooky season. Bye-bye.